today, our GMIHub Family Christmas Volume 3 album is out.
That's right. So that means you have to go to GMIHub.bandcamp.com and download your album today.
Go get it.
Now. Go.
Yeah.
Go.
Right there.
Download your copy today at GMIHub.bandcamp.com.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to GMIHub. Today is Studio Talk Day, and we are going to be talking about pet peeves and live events. I don't know if you've been around, but this is like, when this is recorded right now, it's around the Christmas season. We're actually in the midst of, there's concerts and Christmas cantatas going on, and we just thought it would be so appropriate if we actually sit back and look at what's happening behind the scenes with these live events. What are some pet peeves that happen? And this is not meant to be a complaint session. It's more to be about, finding out things that don't go really well and what can we do to make it a little bit better. But before we even go further on with this conversation, which I hope you're going to enjoy watching and participating in the chat, I want you to remember that you're on YouTube right now, and I want you to be able to like and subscribe this particular episode and ring the bell so that anytime we are going live, you can be one of the first people to be notified of being a part of this conversation. So definitely do that. If you want to know more about GMIHub, go to gmihub.ca. We'd love to connect with you. We'd love to build relationship with you. No matter what position you are, no matter what you do in the music scene, we want to be part of that. We want to help you accomplish what you are called to do and help you do it better. So please go to gmihub.ca, kind of go to where it says join community, join our community. There's a lot of great stuff that's coming up, and we'd love for you to be a part of that. You can also follow us on our Facebook, on social medias, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. We're all pretty much at GMIHub, at GMIHub. Except on Twitter, where we're Industry Gospel. So you can also follow us there as well. Well, I've done a lot of talking, and I normally would by now would be going, hey, let me take it to our co-host. Well, I'm saying, right now I'm the co-host, and the main host is Darryl. So let's take it over to Darryl.
Hello. Well, I'm not the main host tonight. It's not about me. It's about, I guess it's Studio Talk. It's about gear. Doesn't matter about gear, who it's about.
But gear can't talk. So gear is only a reflection.
Well, it does make noise if you drop it.
Well, that's
there we go.
True.
There we go. Pet peeve number one. Mic drop. Mic drop.
Mic drop. And we have
I'm getting reactions from our guests tonight. Here we go. There we go. Reactions from the guests.
And our guests tonight, actually, we also have our other co-host with us, which is Dill Borland. Dill was able to come and join us. You know what? He's our co-host. He's going to be part of the conversation, but he also can actually speak from perspective of being on stage as well as behind the scenes as well. So we look forward to Dale's input on that. And no stranger to our panelists, especially when it comes to Studio Talk, we have John Clarke back with us again, audio engineer extraordinaire. We've had him on. He's been such an awesome guest all the time, so we keep bringing him back. So welcome back, John. So glad to see you. So glad you're able to join us.
So happy to be here.
Awesome. So pet peeves. Okay, are you guys involved in a lot of live events right now, or what's happening?
I will say that I am, because that's basically what I do for a living. Sometimes Christian, but mostly secular events. The Christian is where my heart is. The secular events is what feeds me. I'm like 70-80% of my gigs are in the world. So I'm mixing bands, I'm mixing events, doing corporate, doing festivals, and all sorts of things. So sometimes I'll be a CEO, sometimes I'll be a musician.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you'll have a lot to share. I mean, we can also treat this kind of like, we can kind of treat this as the kind of our year, and because this is kind of our last live webcast for
Okay.
2022. We can kind of treat it as let's look over the year. There's probably some really interesting stories that you can probably share. And Dale, same with you, right? You've been involved with us in some live events. You've probably seen a few share
Yes, I
of
have.
some fun things.
Yeah, my concern tonight is my bandwidth. I hope that I'm not freezing up on you. If that might be a problem.
Well, hopefully it won't be. But if not, that becomes a pet peeve. How do you like that?
Pet peeves,
There's your
these
contribution.
bandwidths.
Exactly.
Kids, get off the internet.
That's right.
And of course, Darryl, you're always involved in different live events from like similar to John, but just in different capacities, right?
Yeah, I usually sit on the video side, but I got one that I think John and me can laugh at. I don't know if it's a pet peeve, but we were both on a show this summer and we got taught a lesson that we actually needed to mic not the one cowbell, but both cowbells that were playing. And they were just crushing these cowbells. So,
Yeah.
pet peeve is overly loud cowbells.
Yes. And not only from the bands,
No.
but the audience brought cowbells too.
Yes, yes.
There's cowbells ringing out from the audience. I should mention what the event was. Salsa Fest. Salsa on St. Clair.
Yeah.
Which is
But
a
to
very...
go with that, we're joking about cowbells because nobody mics them, but they're there and they're well, I won't say well thought of. But what instrument is actually really hated in the churches?
Tambourine.
Yeah.
Tambourines. Pet peeves.
Tambourine, yes.
Bring your
Yes.
own tambourine.
Yeah.
So how do we deal with that? Because if it's a pet peeve, we got to see how we can try and help them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Play louder drums so they're tambourining on the beat? It's like,
Oh, they still cut
Then
through
you get a
them.
loudness war. You get, and that will actually come to another one of my plethora of pet peeves. But yeah, you don't want to make the stage louder because someone in the audience is too loud. Because then you get a bit of a loudness war.
yeah.
Well, this is something that my wife and I were overseas on missions once, and in the front row, one gentleman had decided to bring his cornet, and he could not play the cornet, and he, the trumpets in Zion, and we were wow, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's like the tambourine. If you bring an instrument, practice.
Know how to play it.
Take it to public. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
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 Okay, so my
No,
story
yeah.
is, I'll go back probably 25 years ago. I was playing drums. I had headphones on, and somebody had their tambourine, and it was just still cutting through, and it was loud enough they were throwing some of the band members off, and they weren't pros, so it doesn't take much. And it was at a church.
No.
So we were going through this for a number of weeks, and I finally had to sit down and pull the gentleman aside, and I just politely said, I'm going, I love the fact that you're playing and worshiping God, but please get a quiet tambourine or find some other instrument because you're really messing up the band. And because I did it to him at the right way and I didn't get mad at him and I was trying to figure out how he could do that, he was acceptable on that. But again, this is the same church probably 4 or 5 years before that. They actually had a gentleman who was in his probably mid-70s who'd bring his own harmonica. And he'd sit at the back of the church. And boy, that guy could wail on the music. It was awesome when he could lock in.
It was good. Oh, okay.
Yeah. That was... Yeah, you can pull that out
nice.
anytime.
Yeah. But one problem though is also if
Yeah.
you're playing for the back of the church, you're going to be a little off because there's a time delay.
True.
So
Depending how big the church is. Yeah.
true. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
I have tried, I once tried playing bass while mixing, and I should mention
Yes.
I being both a musician and a sound guy. I once tried playing bass from the back of the church or youth room while mixing, and I just could not do it because of the time delay. Because I was always a little
Yeah.
behind on the beat. Because by the time the sound waves hit me,
Yes. Yes.
yeah,
Right.
and
I totally get that. Yeah.
So in other words, so is that another, you know,
yes,
distractions from the back there.
yeah,
Oh,
distractions from
distractions from the
I'd like
back.
everyone to
Distractions
say
from
hi
the
to my
back.
wife, Veronica.
Does she know? No. Does she not know we're doing a show?
Yeah, she knew.
She's waving. She's waving.
There she is.
Hi, Veronica.
Hey. Well, I have more serious things, generalizations. So maybe you guys, being that I've done sound before. My experience as a audio technician was when artists roam in front of the mains and you get feedback off of the microphone. To me, I thinking is performing and not realize that they're going to have a feedback issue when the microphone's in front of the mains.
Yes. Yeah, that can be an issue. It helps if the sound guy's paying attention a little because what if I see him walking? Yeah, and
That was John. That was John putting me in my.
no, it's not. But because
You're not doing your job, Dale.
Oh man, that came out way wrong. You're absolutely right.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Did the same thing I did.
yeah. And and if I'm doing this, I'm doing it myself because I've been there too. What I do is I just cheat the audio a little if he's walking in front of the right speaker, I pan him slightly to the left to bring him down to the mains of the right side, and hopefully that takes care of it. Yeah. I just had a musician who would walk in front of the speakers, but then he would duck under them so that and make sure his microphone's pointing away so that it wouldn't ring, and that's that he's aware was a good thing.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right.
He's been seasoned well enough to know that if I walk in front of the speakers, I need to make sure the microphone's not pointing at it.
Yeah, and by the same token,
Yeah.
a similar thing is if you have wedge monitors and you're singing, and then you reach a point where you're not singing, you just let your hand drop to the side, and your microphone's now pointed at your floor monitor. That's not a good thing. If you're singing,
that brings me to my second thing as an artist. As my pet peeves is I'm spoiled by in-ear monitors.
Yes.
Because I don't have a volume control on a wedge.
Yes.
That's as an artist, that's a pet peeve.
Yeah. And as a sound guy, I don't want you to have volume control on the wedge.
On the wedge? No.
No. I gave, the last band I worked with, they all had in-ears, and I gave them the app so that they control their own levels.
Right.
And they're perfectly happy to do that. And as long as I had everything labeled, this is the trumpet, this is the keyboard, and so on, they're able to make their own adjustments and be happy that way.
Yeah.
It gave me one less thing to worry about as well. But when we're talking about wedges,
Well, let me jump on that.
Totally.
One of the pet peeves I have with the people with the in-ears is they keep always asking for more, when it probably should be less.
Yes.
Less. Yes.
And then
I'm
also
I guess
very
the same in every
concerned.
monitor mix.
What's that, Dale? Okay.
I think that might be
and what
a
goes
safe
with that
concern
is
for every monitor
if
mix.
we What?
He said it's a concern for every monitor mix. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Darryl, your turn.
Yeah, so as we do this, part of what my concern, though, is if they have too much control, I'm finding guys are really running the levels hot on their ears, and I get concerned that they're going to blow their ears out.
Yeah.
Or they're
Don't
using
turn yourself up,
I agree.
iPad ears, not proper in-ears.
Right.
Yeah. Be subtractive.
That's
Be subtractive.
Yeah.
Don't turn yourself up, turn everything else down. And the same thing with tone. If you want more brightness, don't turn up the high end, turn down the bass, the low end.
Yep.
If you want more warmth, don't turn up the low end, turn down the high end. Be subtractive, not additive, because additives are bad for you.
Yes. Additives.
That makes sense. That totally makes sense. I got that one.
It's really good. That's good.
But there's this whole thing about floor monitors, wedge monitors, where they try to make it sound like the record, and you don't want that. The monitor is there for pitch and for meter. It's not there. Like, I have singers asking me to put some reverb in the floor wedges, and that totally defeats the purpose of them, because they're there to cut through the bounce, the reverb in the room, so you can hear yourself. You put the reverb in there, then you need the floor monitor to be louder and louder, and then the drummer hears how loud it is, and he starts hitting louder.
Never.
And that gets me. Yeah, that gets me to my Steve, if you don't mind me jumping ahead, keep the stage volume down. Because nothing ruins the front of house mix like a too loud a stage. And I'm going to say many musicians are responsible, and I won't single out the guitar players.
But you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. It brings me to one of my peeves. Whenever you go to a place where the monitors are more prominent, no louder than the mains.
Yes.
You can hear the stage noise more. And you can hear. It bothers me so much.
Yeah, and it comes out like so muffled and mid-rangey and unpleasant, and the only way to get over it, it's bad. And like I said, guitarists are the worst. And this is something like guitarists do. They're addicted to volume. They will keep turning up and up and up and up just a little, but little adds up.
You have just offended every guitarist out there. Way to go.
The sad thing is I am a guitarist, and I am guilty. So I'm saying
You're a bass guitarist.
No, I play guitar. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, John,
guitar and bass.
I have a new guitar amp. It goes up to 12.
Perfect for your patient. Yeah. But man, I was doing a show, and the guitar players kept turning themselves up and up and up, and it's like I'm trying to mix them. I was thinking, where did all my drums go? They've suddenly all disappeared because I'm pushing the vocals up and I'm forgetting about the drums, and then I realized there are no drums anymore because the guitars had gotten so loud. I've been compensating it with the vocals, but then I'd cycle through the various instruments in my head and going like, my drums are gone. And meanwhile, the poor singer can't hear himself anymore. And he's going like, what happened to my mix? Did you turn me down? I'm going, no, your guitar player turned himself up. And one other thing about guitar players, don't worry, I'll be picking on singers soon. Another thing about guitar players, this is an anatomy lesson. You don't have ears in the back of your knees. You might want to write that down. You have no ears in the back of your knees. So you'll have the amp behind you, pointed at the back of the knees. It'll be blowing away the front row of the audience, and you won't be hearing it half as loud as them. And I would say for guitar players, get a guitar stand, point it so it's not pointed at the audience. You want the sound guy controlling it. Point it at your head. Put it in front, pointing back at you. That's ideal. Get a quieter amp, please. Just make it quieter. Get it so you can hear it better. So that's it with guitar players.
I think though, John, you're hitting on a really important point, and that is keep your stage sound.
Yes.
I think it's because any obstruction or noise that comes from the stage is picked up by, guess what? Your microphones.
Yes. Yeah. I actually, doing these seminars, Darryl had a great idea that we were talking about noise gates and he mentioned, I put them on horns. So I've started putting them on horns, thanks to Darryl's advice. And that's another thing. You're never so good that you can't learn from someone. You learn from anyone. Your kid will tell you something. You'll think, you know what, that's a good idea. I'm going to incorporate it. So a kid like Darryl told me something.
Yeah,
and
you
now
can learn from even Darryl. You can learn from.
Yeah, I can learn even from Darryl. But
I have a thought once in a while.
Yeah, but here's the problem though: is one time I was trying it, but the stage volume was so loud that I could not get the gate set right.
Wow.
So we have to bring your stage level down, keep your your guitar amps quieter, and if you get a smaller guitar amp, all these things. Drummers, I used to think drummers were the problem, but they're not so much now that these days. But even drummers don't have to hit so hard. Hit a little quieter. Let me amplify you.
Well, with the drummers, the one thing that I used to do is I would go to the smallest drumstick and thinnest drumstick that you could.
Yeah.
Because once you start busting them, it gets costly.
Yes. Yeah.
And so I know a lot of churches and places are going to put in a fishbowl. That's a pet peeve of mine. It sounds horrible. That's my opinion. I've never been able to get a good sound out of a fishbowl.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it could be worse. You could be playing on electric, sonic.
You know what? Some
Or an
of those
electric
electrics, I'm all right with. They sound pretty good. They feel pretty good.
Okay.
They are easy to
turn them
deal
up.
with.
You got control.
Yeah, that's for sure. But the control, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we pick on Cheryle here with the singers, which will probably take it there. A massive pet peeve of mine is, so Mr. Audio Guy, can you give me one of your music stands? Do you have any music stands? Absolutely not. You're here to play, not read from a stand.
You know what? I don't have a problem.
Pick them up at the end of the gig.
I don't actually have a problem with a musician reading from a stand, but it is a good idea if you're going to do that. Bring your own stand. You don't hope that the sound guy has it, and that.
Yeah, but come on, watch this. How many of them show up with those little wire stands?
Yeah,
you can barely, and they're doing outdoor gigs, and they're wanting to know why their music is blowing away, and the stands tip over.
Yeah.
Yes.
Safety
yes,
pins.
True.
Weight. Something a little heavier is good.
And then they blame it on the sound guy. No.
Yeah.
And when I actually do what I do for a living, which is camera, oh man, I shoot that all day long, and we're just dying of laughter on camera watching these guys trying to do their music. I'm sorry that's bad, but if you're paid to be there, you should know your music.
Once again, I don't have a problem with like a singer that has an iPad in front so they can read the lyrics or things like that. Or a few charts that doesn't bother me, though. bring your own stand, make sure it's good quality. And that will bring me to a pet peeve. Here you bring your instruments, your cables, and everything. Make sure it's all in good condition. Last week, I did a show, and the singer was plugging her in-ear monitor through another device, but she had forgotten to bring a battery for that other device. And meanwhile, her in-ear could not fit into the belt pack I gave her. And we had no wedge for her, so she ended up having to sing without monitor.
Oh.
And I even gave her extra, we had a couple of spare earphones for her, and she couldn't get them to work. And it was towards the end of the show. But if you're going to a show, you're a professional. Make sure everything works. Bring extra cables. Bring a power bar and a power cable, because you can't always rely on the audio guy.
Guitarists, bring your
battery,
drummers.
cables,
do you know how many times I've had to supply drumsticks?
Oh,
as an audio
yeah.
Hey, do you have drumsticks?
Absolutely.
Drumsticks, drum keys, bring extra. Because chances are, it's not uncommon to lose them on a gig. Yeah. So have spares.
Yeah.
Even if you keep it in the trunk of your car instead of carrying them in, extra strings, extra everything, make sure it all works. Try it out. I mean, and this is, yeah. So don't
I'm surprised.
Don't show up in a.
Go ahead.
Huh?
Go ahead, Cheryl.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I was surprised you brought up music stands and audio stage stuff, but I didn't hear mic stands. Because usually when I'm singing, the biggest pet peeve that I know Darryl has with me is the mic stand, especially if I'm holding a microphone in hand and the microphone stand is still standing really tall, but I'm not using it. So I'm surprised that pet peeve hasn't popped up.
Well, that's a stage presence thing. Well, we can get into that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's wait for that one.
But that's up to the artist to make that.
Yeah.
If they know that stand's going to be there. Like I do rock and roll, I'll just kick that stand right over and keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But most of the shows, it's I'll have 2 or 3 singers, so they'll pull off the mic when they're singing lead, and then pop it in the stand, back in the stand when they're singing backup. And that's fairly common. Just be very quiet when you're popping it in and out. But
John, that's another line right there. They make these microphone holders that you can't get them in. You have to, and just hear that big pop. It's like
ka-thunk. Yes.
Why don't you make a clip? Just clip that puppy, and we're good to go.
Yeah. Yes. There is a clip that's like a claw, so you'll squeeze it, it opens.
Yes.
But I don't see them around very much.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. The springs break.
The spring ones, yeah. They're a good idea, but the ones I've seen are mediocre quality.
Okay, if we're talking about things popping, guitarists, especially acoustics, make sure you get permission from the audio guy to unplug your guitar so you don't get a bang through the system.
Yes.
But you know what? From an audio an artist point of view, it's really hard to do because your audio guy, especially when you're finished, is doing the next thing, and he doesn't care about you. You're done, and you're trying to get his attention.
Do you know how many times I've seen guys they haven't even finished stringing out, and they're just yanking the cable out, and you going bang.
Oh, okay.
Nope.
Yeah, okay, I hear you.
Yeah.
At a certain point, the audio guy needs to take responsibility for not muting.
Yeah.
But way too often, they're doing something else, and artist isn't paying attention to the audio guy.
Yeah.
No, you got a point. That's good. Yeah.
I would agree.
Well, speaking of pops, I was thinking of pops too. Whenever we got into this, there's one thing I didn't think about till now, and that's mic placement, mic control. Where an artist has especially with a headset mic, it's sitting right in the air. It's not to the sound.
Yeah.
The sound is picking up error, and you hear the, and it's so irritating.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I would say, it helps if the singer, if every musician can practice with their gear, like practice with a microphone, practice, just learn proper mic technique and so on. Here's another mic thing that bothers me. Like, you would not believe how badly this bothers me. Here's a microphone, holding it like this.
Oh yes.
I've seen them hold it like this. They hold it like this. You never touch the grill. Hold it like this. This is good. This is good. This, I don't care what dumb rapper you does it this way. Do not do it this way. And forgive me, all you dumb rappers, but you're the worst for this. But I've seen a lot of folks do this.
Okay,
I did a show.
I'll grab my microphone. How about the guys who start like this, and then they start, I gotta go here.
Yeah.
You know, trying to sing and
if you get
and you can't pick them up. No.
Yeah.
Keep it here.
Practice with the mics. Just do this. See how it sounds like this, and then see how it sounds like this, and decide what you like better. Yeah.
So yeah, mic placement,
like
mic
this,
control.
and then wonder why am I feeding back, and why do I sound like crap?
Yeah. Well, it's totally mic control is so important. Absolutely.
Yeah. And the mic drop. Never, ever, ever do it.
You know what? We actually did see someone do that.
I have a.
Oh.
I had an SM58 back in the 90s that I bought for that specific reason.
For dropping?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's 58. That's fairly robust. You could probably get away with that.
Yeah, but you also have the PA that's going to pound on that.
Yeah, it's going to pound on the PA. But I did
you let the sound guy know. Let the sound guy know, when you're going to do it.
I'm going to drop this mic. And he'll say, drop it on that mat.
No, there's one part. There's one part where I do that Roger Daltrey thing, and I throw it up in the air, and you catch it, right?
Yeah.
And then after you caught it, everybody's like, "Oh, that was good." You just drop it, and then that is.
Yeah, but I did a show where it was a corporate event, a corporate party, and as corporate guys, we're all getting drunk. One guy takes the mic, says some drunken speech. And then he does a mic drop. And then the host picked it up and it wasn't working. I later went back to that venue, and I ran into the guy there, and he said they're docking my pay to pay $1,000 to pay for that microphone.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
That's why I bought my.
That's why you bought your own. Yeah.
The 58. That's why I bought the 58. That's all it was for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we're talking about dropping something. Pet peeve is drones in the air. Because those are so illegal. The helicopters, the drones.
You mean the helicopter?
Well, in a concert setting, partly as.
And we have lost our friends.
I still have you, though.
Well, while we get Darryl back, hopefully he can hear us, and hopefully we can go to a commercial. Actually, if he can't go to a commercial, he can. Awesome.
There we go. Okay.
Hey, Dale, guess what?
What?
Today is the day. Our GMIHub Family Christmas Volume 3 album is out.
That's right. So means you have to go to GMIHub.bandcamp.com and download your album today.
Go get it.
Now. Go.
Yeah.
Go.
Right there.
Download your copy today at GMIHub.bandcamp.com.
And we are back. So I wanted to do two things here. We talked about the album, and I was going to show you that we actually have them in hard copy. So if you're looking for a Christmas gift and you want to wrap something to wrap up, give us a contact here. Contact us at gmihub.ca. We'd be happy to send these to you. They are, well, just contact us and we'll tell you more about that. But we'll be happy to send this out to you.
I like the fact we put both albums on one CD.
Yes, we
did.
We actually have volume one and volume 2 are on one album. Plus we have our volume 3. So if you want to get a copy of this whole wonderful little package, there'll be a wonderful Christmas gift for someone. And you know, and I've listened to these songs, and we as a family listen to these songs, and it's amazing just the quality that comes out, amazing just the message that comes forth, and the reminder again of what Christmas is all about. So that's what these are here for. As well, you probably saw a picture of a guy just kind of rocking it out and just stomping and having a great time. Well, that is Eighth Line. That is Scott Jackson of Eighth Line. He is coming on January 30th for our artist showcase, which is the next one we're going to be doing. We're excited that he's going to be doing a concert with us. We're also excited for the other artists that are going to be here with us: Tootsie Williams, Andrew Russell, who you've heard, he's a rapper. We have Michael as well, Michael Manhurst, that's going to be joining us. So January 30th, we hope that you can come and join us physically, because it's going to be a live concert, and Scott really loves seeing people. So if you are able to come out, that would be absolutely awesome. January 30th, which is a Monday night, to hear Eighth Line, which is Scott Jackson and his band coming down, and they're going to do a lot of their original music. And you know, we've watched Scott. He's so much fun to watch. You know, he just has all this energy, and you know, he knows what he can and cannot do, and he just works with his, I don't know, he's just very energetic. I just find him.
He puts on a great show.
He puts on a great show, yeah.
He does, yeah.
If you want to experience an Eighth Line experience, and this, hey, and Scott wasn't he just nominated? He was just nominated for
the GMAs.
Yes. For Rock Band of the Year or something like that. He was a nomination though, correct?
Yes.
Come on out and hear him on January the 30th, and the rest of our artists too. We do this
absolutely
this is 4 times a year, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So anyway, there was my commercial
Pet peeve,
break.
technology.
Yeah.
Technology. Oh yeah, absolutely. No, totally. Yes.
I'm down.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That. Okay.
Especially when live streaming, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go start picking on vocals.
Before we do that, you mentioned Michael Manhurst.
Yes.
And he is just this amazing singer. And he did something right that a lot of people don't do right. I saw him once. He was in a church, and we had a young drummer who was just starting off. and no one could see it, but he actually, because the drummer, it's in a cage, but he was standing behind the drummer with his hands on his shoulder and whispering to the guy how to play, what to play. He was mentoring the kid. Yeah. And I say that one of my pet peeves is when you don't want to share like what you know. And you kind of understand it. It's like you're thinking, like, I've had guys who ask me, how does this thing work? And so I show them how it works, and I do it happily. And I work for those guys, that guy. The guy now hires me. It's like you share your knowledge, you share your experience. Don't keep it to yourself thinking this guy will put me out of a job if I teach him what I know. Let him learn on his own time. You share everything. That's what we have to do as Christians, is we share everything. And that's the Promise Keepers thing, where everyone should have someone older than them to mentor them and someone younger than them that they mentor. And so, like I said, that's something that Michael Manhertz, an amazing singer, his brother is an amazing bass player. That's something I watched him once do amazingly right.
Awesome. Well, shout out to Michael. I'm so glad he's coming.
Yeah. Mentorship and talent growth go hand in hand. Yeah. Can you hear me?
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Mentorship and talent growth. Yeah. They go hand in hand. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I love that you said that, John, because it's very true. There is an underlying tendency to kind of try and keep things to oneself, because it's like, oh, if I share that with somebody else, they're going to steal it and say it's their own. But actually, we're part of the body of Christ. Yeah. So we should be sharing information and sharing something, because we're trying to help each other. You know, we're all on the same page here. We're all on the same team. We're all trying to get, use our talents to get, say, a message across through the music, through a concert, through whatever's going on, whether we're behind the stage or on the stage. So trying to hide what we know is just dysfunctional. Like this,
It is, absolutely. That. Yeah.
So
I think that what we need to realize is when we help someone as they progress, one day they're able to bless us as well. And it's like with any measure of mentorship, you're investing. And with that investment,
and with that investment,
did you hear me?
No, you broke up.
The last
with
bit.
that investment, you will then show a dividend. You will show the investment come to fruition,
Yeah.
Did you get that?
Yes.
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 Okay.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's true. That's true. It takes more than well, think of it this way. In Scripture, I think there's a gardening analogy where there's one person that sows, one person that reaps, one person waters, one person does, and if each person with that gift or talent didn't do or didn't want to share what the other one was doing, how would that crop really grow, or would it?
Yeah.
Right.
I kind of wonder about stuff like that. So as Dale said before, mentoring and talent growth go hand in hand, and it goes hand in hand. It should be like that. So we should be mentoring, and that is why we support mentoring. That is why we do what we do here.
Exactly.
It's not
That's what we're all about.
Yeah.
And I thought it's easier to make fun of people.
Right.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And on a similar vein, you work with each other. It's like a lot of times you see it departmentalized, like the audio department and the video department and the lighting department, and they have nothing to do with each other. But you're all working together. And if your job is done and you see the lighting guy struggling, say, do you want me to plug in those lights over there? Do you want me to do this? Is there anything I can do to help?
Right.
It's like you're all in this together. Because
I think, John, you've hit a nail on the head there, because that's one of the biggest problems I find in churches everywhere I go. There's the singers, the musicians, and there's the sound.
Yeah.
There's three, and they're all three different but they should not. They should be a team.
Yes.
They all act like they're in a silo. They all do their own little world, and that's all they care about. And we stay.
Yes.
It's not even stay in the zone. They don't even pay attention to what's going on, what the outcome is by not caring and getting in there with somebody else. They don't get in the trenches.
So, right. So that would be. I hope I don't break up. This is really important. The music director or the person who's in charge. It's their responsibility, I believe, as a team lead, to keep that continuity, that community with those teams.
Yes.
And if that is from the top down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes, I agree with you. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I also want to say we're getting all serious.
Yeah.
No, but I've also done it where I've had to come in where they never did that, and the top will not do that because that's not. I don't want to say their thought process. So I came in as the sound guy, and it probably took me 6 to 8 months to build the relationship with the team for them to go, well, maybe we should start asking him now about why can't I hear myself in my in-ears. It's like, I've been asking that. Mm-hmm. I've been walking up on stage. I've been doing that. And they're going, yeah, but we haven't done that for like 5-6 years. So why are we changing it now? But yet now they're going, it sounds good. We can actually sing closer to pitch.
Yeah. Depending.
But, it's all about relationships.
It is.
Yeah.
Different communities and parts of the relationship has to be strong, and that community and the hermeneutic needs to be built, like I said, from the top down.
Okay, here we go. I'll jump on a big one of mine, and it goes down to the fact of senior management doesn't really acknowledge their tech team. The tech teams are the ones that are in the trenches. They're going to war. They're the ones that show up at 4:00 on Sunday morning, getting everything ready and prepped, and leaving at 4:00 in the afternoon, and people going, but why? And they're one of the least paid on staff. I've seen it a few times where guys are going, hey, we want to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on this new gear. And I'm going, are you insane? Pay your staff. Pay your staff first. Yeah. They should be up there where they're not having to try and pull a second-time job. Give them a full-time job. Let them do what they need to do. Because now you're going to have somebody who cares. Otherwise, it's just hired guys who walk in, do their gig, go home.
Yeah.
And if they need training, give it to them. Give them the training.
I was just talking to Cheryle about this. We keep coming across churches who are going, I don't want to. Man, we got to pay some more people because our crew or our band or our singers aren't quite good enough. So let's just pay the guys. I just told Cheryle, I said, you know what? Take the money and send your volunteers and go get proper lessons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got 10 weeks of lessons for paying somebody to be there for 1 week.
Yeah.
What would that do to your church? All of a sudden, you're paying your people to learn.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm getting serious and annoyed. This is more than a pet peeve.
No, but you're
basically
investing. I think you're hitting some. Hitting some. But people maybe out there aren't thinking that way because they're not challenged to think that way. What?
Nice.
What'd I do?
Nope. You just said part of a statement. I just started laughing at that. People aren't thinking.
Right. Well, yeah, but I think they're not. They're not. Okay, they're not challenged in that way. Can you? They're not thinking that way, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So.
It's true. They take it for granted.
I don't know if I'm breaking up or froze.
Yeah, it's because they've done it that way for so long that they don't think of it in any other way, right? I mean, I admit, before I met Darryl, I knew there was technical stuff going on, I mean, otherwise I wouldn't have been able to, use a microphone and sing and stuff. But I didn't know the thought process. I didn't know the in-depth stuff as a person that is on stage. The only thing I knew is they were doing something. And I got to the point where I recognized, hey, you know what? Those tech guys, they have the power. I mean, if I can't sing loud, guess what? They can turn the on and off button on. They actually have the power. So I learned to respect them really quickly. And that was before I met Darryl.
Bring in that guy, Tim Hortons coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's right. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, do you remember those outdoor services we did, Darryl?
Yes. Yes.
At the end of one of them, someone who I didn't know came to me, came up the stairs to the stage and dropped on my console a Tim Hortons gift card. Said, "This is to thank you for all your hard work." I think, and that was so appreciated. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think, as a matter of fact, get a couple of gift cards and give them to the sound guy or your video guy, or buy a bunch of them for the whole crew.
Yep.
How thoughtful of
exactly.
Yeah.
That was thoughtful for two reasons. One, they acknowledged that you did the work, and two, they made sure they didn't put liquid on your equipment.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
Liquid on the gear, another pet peeve.
Yeah.
Having drinks too close to the gear.
Yep.
Don't do it. Can I just say, since I picked on singers, musicians, management...
I thought we were going to jump on the singers still.
Oh. Well, I've seen the time taken away, and I want to go after sound guys now.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
I escaped. Yay!
Yeah. So this, well, you should be working.
Oh.
Yes.
But it's just not sound, guys.
Yeah.
Attention.
I agree.
That's what you're there for.
Totally agree.
I've been on shows where the camera operator sitting 40 feet from the CEO in the center aisle, and he pulls out these little clamps to hold his iPhone so he could read his phone while the CEO is speaking.
Yeah.
I went up to the kid about 20 minutes before I showed, "You're pulling that down." He goes, "But I'm allowed to." I says, "I'm pulling it down. I don't care who these guys are. It's a CEO."
Yep.
No, if they lose, that's $100,000 show that you're losing every single year.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. That was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For you.
I like. There's someone who used to be a tech, and now she works for a big corporation. Probably you guys do business with them. And when I saw her, I mentioned one of the companies I work for, and she said, "Well, we're never working with them again because the tech was on his phone and missed some cues for the whole show."
Right.
No,
that is one problem. I think the bottom line to the company you're working for, regardless of missing cues.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not respecting your position.
Yeah. And it's bad when you're working for a company. It's worse when you're working for God. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yes.
Ooh,
Yes. I hear you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because whatever we do, we're supposed to do excellent.
Yeah.
Right. I was at a church once where the sound guy was doing that. He was on his phone, literally talking to other people while he was doing audio.
Yeah.
But is that part of putting the show on, or is this finding out what they're doing after the service?
Yeah, sometimes you have
a continuous problem. Yeah.
Yeah. So pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there is some time when it's part of the show. You're trying to troubleshoot. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But again, also from the camera op, do you know how many times that actually once the CEO gets up, stands behind the lectern, is what they're called, is all the phones come out because it's a lock off.
Yeah.
And you're actually, I had a client where they actually said, once the person gets behind the lectern, lock it off and put a chair 5 feet away from the camera and read your phone. Because they said, if the person leaves that spot, it's on them.
Yeah.
You're there to do the 10 minutes of the front part and lock it off. And the client yelled at one of the camera ops because he didn't. Like, it was like, that's what you need to. But that's a rarity.
That's rare. That's rare. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, more.
Wow.
You're gonna pick on the sound guys. You got
That's
any more?
right. Oh yeah,
pick
be
on the lighting
pleasant,
guy.
be professional, have the gear working as well as you can. I do many times I've done shows where make sure your sound guy, your tech crew has all the information. Let them go through and say, I don't need to know this. Like I get a big folder for every show I do for one company, and it includes things like what the caterers are going to feed the audience. And I don't need that, but I'm smart enough to go, oh, that's not necessary. I'd rather have them include this with everything else than not get any information, show up cold and find out, oh, this is what's happening today. I mean, I got to a show, all I knew is there was a band, and I had some band stuff, so I started setting up for the band, and then it turns out that the band brought their own equipment and their own sound guy and everything, and I was just wasting my time.
Oh, writers that aren't actually a writer for the show.
Writers! Get a good writer, keep it up to date. Like if you've got a band or a musician, just list everything he's going to need. He's going to need a microphone. He's going to need a mic stand. He's going to need, if he's singing a track, so he's going to need a player or a headphone jack or whatever. He's going to need this. Just say you need this. Yeah, just make a good writer. If it's a band, list all the instruments. List on the drums how many toms there are.
Yes.
List all the musicians. If you're going to use wedges or in-ears, who's supplying what. Like, it's okay to say Bob the singer is going to bring his own mic. That's fine. More often than not, I listen to if they have a cheapo, I'll say that mic's okay, but try mine. But in any case, be specific, be detailed in your writer.
Yeah.
If you're going to, and be prepared for less than professional situation. Like if you're the keyboard player, maybe have in your
Probably
car
a hard one. Yeah.
keyboard amp in case there's issues there. Then they just put the singer through the PA or something.
Okay. Showing up with your phone with the Mac or the Samsung adapter.
Yeah.
We actually did a show 2 years ago
Yeah.
where they just came out with the Samsung adapter. And we had to go buy one because after the show, the lady comes out, gives us the phone. She's had it only a couple days, and we go to plug the phone in, and there's no adapter. Couldn't see it. Couldn't plug it in. And it was after hours, so we couldn't even send somebody to go buy one.
Yeah.
So come up with your phone, a laptop, a USB, CD.
Yeah. Yeah.
We actually were on a gig a couple weeks ago that Cheryle was just singing at, and we sent the music all in advance. The guy's laptop that he had the playlist on died. His CD, which was the last of the backups, died.
Yeah.
We actually had to pull off of the USB drive for the show.
Yeah. Well, you raise a good point. This is something I kind of learned the hard way at Salsa Fest, where one of the dancer groups, they came with a phone saying, we've got the songs on this phone. And I had no way of plugging it in because it had no headphone jack.
Yes.
Luckily, that other tech, he said, "Oh, I've got him." And since that show, I've actually added them to my crash kit.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, that's another thing for sound guys. Have a crash kit with all sorts of adapters and extra power, like we call them
USBs.
Euros, the sort of power cable that goes on the back of your computer.
Yep. The Euros or yep.
Yeah, the IECs, whatever, extra everything, because you know what, you at one point or another, you're going to need it. As a matter of fact, I'm like looking at my crash kit, saying, should I retire this VGA adapter? And it's like, yeah, no one's got VGA anymore. But I know that the first
game just did a gig where they were doing VGA into the projectors.
Yeah, I'm pretty. And that's what I'm saying. Is like I'm pretty sure if I take that out of my kit, the next gig I do.
Yeah, the one day. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I worked at City Hall during the Rob Ford days as an AV tech, and we would burn CDs of the city council meetings. And I once had a lady call me saying, "I don't want the CD." Or the DVD, I should say. I don't want the DVD. Can I get a VHS? There's still old technology kicking around that you have to deal with.
Yep.
Wow.
Did you have to deliver a VHS of this?
Just recorded it, DVD to VHS, and then what happens is...
Okay.
Yeah. Kind of what happens the way is you can order a DVD of a city council meeting or a subcommittee meeting, and there's an office where you go there, you pay like $15 nominal fee for it, and you get the DVD. But we also hand out free copies to members of the press. There's a press room at City Hall where after a meeting, I'll sometimes take 2 or 3. They can call me up and ask me to bring them.
Right. Cool.
Okay. What about lighting? I want to jump through a couple of the other sections here. Any pet peeves with lighting? Oh, I can jump on that one.
Please.
As a camera guy, you gotta have lights.
Yeah.
You gotta have lights. Color balance, all the same.
Of course. Yeah.
Wash.
Yeah.
Right.
Not spots.
Right.
No specials on the podium, so when you have to pan, you don't have to iris as you're panning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Way too many stories of wrong color, mixed color temps, uneven lighting, Lecos with hard cuts, and the light goes right across the mayor's face, and you only see half her face.
Yeah.
Right? So... Okay, that's my brief little jump on the lighting.
Yeah.
Wash, even wash.
Even
Not
wash.
like some bands where they... Okay, I gotta say this. Doing a band for New Year's Eve on a major outdoor show, 30,000 people. The headlining band, the lighting guy said, "I don't believe in wash," and he turned off the wash lights. I had no front lights for a multi-camera shoot, and there's 30,000 people in the audience.
And it was dark, probably.
It was absolutely dark, and the production manager and the city were all upset at me, going, "Well, you got to shoot it." I'm going, "You got to tell the guy to turn on the lights." And he goes, "It wasn't in a rider that there's video on here, so I don't need to do it."
Wow.
Wow.
Pet peeve when people aren't flexible.
Yep. So it was
actually that's a good thing to talk about sound engineers that are not very flexible too when it comes to being in scenarios where they think they know the best way to do it. That's really a pet peeve.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll jump a little bit on the camera, and this is a training thing. Another major festival that I was working on, and they were touring. They were bigger than a bar band.
Yeah.
And every time it came to a guitar solo or a bass solo or something where it's like they were lined up nice for this great shot down for the handheld, they turned around and you missed the shot. And it was like
Are you kidding?
butt shot, side of the leg shot, just it was anything else. And I'm going, if they would just learn how to position themselves on stage, the rest of the audience could see that.
Yeah, especially for a live show, that's just I don't get that.
So stage presence is a big thing, knowing where you are, what you're doing.
Yeah. Don't upstage, but know when to move upstage.
Yeah.
Right. So, Darryl, that's also not always looking at your lens, but looking at the full stage and what's happening and be able to catch those moments, right?
Oh, I'm not even going to jump on camera ops. You don't know what they're doing.
it. Yeah. Yeah, but that comes with experience, so yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Here's a pet peeve from Darryl. No fireworks at the shows.
I was backstage when that happened. The director of that show looked at me going, man. We were only supposed to have 3. Where's the 4th bang from?
Yeah.
Major show, somebody sent off fireworks in the auditorium or the arena.
Yeah. And then I went to that same arena a couple months ago, and we weren't allowed to bring bags bigger than a little purse because of what happened after that show of yours.
The tech show. The techs weren't allowed, or is this?
No, not the tech. Okay, it was Scotiabank Arena.
Yep.
Darryl was doing a video there, and someone set off fireworks for a famous artist. And then a couple months later, I go there to see the Raptors play. And I'm told, because of what happened during Darryl's show, they didn't say it was Darryl's show, but because of what happened during that show, we reduced the size of bags that you can bring in.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know there were charges going to be laid, like the police were in there taking forensic. Like this was serious.
It was serious.
So, yeah.
And they ruined it for everyone.
Wow.
Because
yeah, that's the truth.
I had to figure out what to do with my backpack because luckily I was I worked that day and the next day in the same venue, so I just left my backpack there without a problem. But yeah, if my situation was different, they said you can bring a backpack, but you'll have to pay us to search it.
Yeah, they're charging you to search the backpack.
Yeah.
So is it per hour, or per size of the backpack?
No. It's like your bag can only be this size. If it's bigger, we'll search it, but it'll cost you this much.
How much? It's almost worth it to go in there with a hockey bag.
I don't remember. $20.
Just okay. I'll tie you up. Make it miserable.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, but that's just funny.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
That I've
okay,
never heard.
you were gonna pick on vocals. Cheryl's all happy that we weren't picking on her.
Oh, that's fine. We can, just we can close the show.
Okay, here we go.
Now.
Here we go. Somebody's gonna start talking and singing at this volume, and then when it comes to the show,
I knew that was coming.
That's everyone. A drummer will play. Then for the show, boom, pow, boom, pow. So it's actually when I'm setting up sound check, I actually bring the gain for everyone a little low because they're going to push it up or play harder.
Okay,
come showtime.
But for vocalists like Cheryle will do this too. She'll talk and then she'll go talk like this, and then I'll be like, okay, I lose it, but everybody talking when you say. And I know what that bugs me.
She goes into the microphone and she speaks quieter, and then when she gets away, she speaks louder.
Yeah. Here's something. Sorry. Here's something that bothered me when Darryl and I were working together at a church. God bless the singers. I love them. I got on great about them. I was actually talking to Darryl about how one of them became a special friend to me.
Yep.
But they had this thing at sound check when they're talking about their in-ears, once they learn to trust them, they would say, my in-ears is kind of flippy when it should be floppy. And Fiona is more yeeky when she should be yucky. And And all we needed to hear, like the microphones were color coded. Can I get more red in the blue in-ear monitor? That's what we wanted to hear. Instead of, or at the most, can I get a little bit more bass on my vocals or whatever around my in-ear? Instead of all of this explanation of this is what I'm hearing, and then non-technical terms takes half an hour. And finally, we got, okay, so you want more of the background vocals and a little brighter on yours. Okay.
Or the person who puts the belt pack on but doesn't plug the ears in and wondering to know why they don't have good sound.
Yeah.
Right. Turn on your
or
pack.
The ear breaks off and half the cable's hanging because the ear broke off from the cable.
Yeah, well, it's not even
and the other one's just hanging on. No wonder why you're getting crackles.
Yeah. And also,
that comes back to the whole maintenance thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is true. Also, remember, like sometimes you're not responsible for turning your wireless mics on and off. Sometimes you are. If you are, be diligent.
Right.
Now, when I'm doing a corporate event, I'll actually do this. I'll set the wireless microphones so they can't be turned off. So only I can turn them on and off. I just did a medical conference, which we had live streaming of open heart surgery. That was a fun one. Mm-hmm. But I realized I trust these guys to cut in my heart, but I don't trust them to turn a microphone on or off.
Oh, wow.
I worked at a TV station, and the chief engineer, when he got the new wireless for the studio...
Yeah.
No, sorry, it wasn't the chief audio engineer would go into the maintenance in front of the chief engineer, open up the wireless microphone, take out the crazy glue, dab it in, make sure it was turned on, and then he'd break the connector on. So you could, because they were dip switched. And nobody's turning it off on me.
Yeah. Turn it off, take out the batteries.
Yep.
Extra battery. Have enough batteries for your show. And
of the right
many
type.
other things.
If you need 9 volts, bring 9 volts.
Yes.
That's right.
You know what? So, guys, I've been actually tracking the pet peeves. We've literally got over 30 pet peeves that we've talked about tonight. I'm actually up to 32, and I probably missed some. What? I know. I just...
Yeah, probably.
And this is not, like, this is just spitting them out. Like,
that's my pet peeve.
What's that? I missed one.
I was saying, somebody who makes lists. Somebody who makes lists. That's my pet peeve.
Pet peeve is when we have to wrap up shows that are fun.
Absolutely. True. Well said.
That's true. That is true.
I just felt like the song from Mary Poppins, and I just deflated everybody.
And it is true. We do have to probably wind this up. But you know what? There's been so much. When you think about this, I mean, there has been, like I said, over 30 things that we've talked about tonight, or that I've listened to you guys talk about tonight, that are pet peeves with live shows. And in the midst of the pet peeves, I love the fact that we actually said, this is a pet peeve, and this is how you correct it. And so this is, to me, is like golden nugget episode. This is the golden nugget episode. And, you know, I really appreciate hearing all of this. It's as a person that is on stage and also hears about what's going on behind the scene, it gives a greater perspective. To me, anyway, I have a greater perspective of what is, you know, what is happening on both sides of the stage, whether it's on stage or off stage. I have a better understanding of how things are affecting other people that are working on the same event. So, you know what, I'm really, really appreciative of this. Thank you so much for being on here. John, love hearing your perspective. Dale, love the fact that you're able to put bring in a lot of other stories. Darryl, of course, lots of stories. I'm just glad I was here to listen to it all.
I also have to say to Randy, who got stuck in Manhattan and he was in New York. He was supposed to be on the show, and again, it's Christmas season. Everybody's trying to get things done before the last minute. Tyler, he was in Ottawa. I believe he's stuck on the show. I think it was a Christmas show as well. These guys were calling it. We wanted to be on because we wanted to teach, but they couldn't. It's Christmas. We know that. But thank you guys for that. I know you guys couldn't make it, but we'll have you on again later.
We will. Maybe we'll have to do a Pet Peeves Part 3.
Peeves of the Peeves.
Yeah. Actually, Cheryle, I'm curious if you would, as a singer, have pet peeves about musicians or techs.
Oh dear.
I just turned off the background music for closing, so it's all on you now.
Oh great. I was thinking we were just gonna close off.
Yeah.
You know what? The only thing I've encountered, to be honest with you, as a quote unquote pet peeve, I think we've already talked about it, is the silos even on stage, where the singers are not communicating with the musicians and vice versa, or everything that's happening on stage is not communicating with the people who are serving to help make what's going on stage happen. So that's been a huge pet peeve. I think we've mentioned it already, and it actually is a painful pet peeve because unfortunately, because of the mentality that mentality of, we're on stage, we do our own thing, and the tech people, they do their own thing, and no one talks to one another, no one communicates, no one does live with one another. It's amazing to me how an event can get pulled off when it's like that. To me, it's so much better when everyone is kind of in tune with the other person. I mean, yeah, I'm a singer. I may not be a tech person. I mean, put me on camera, I probably wouldn't know how to Zoom and all the rest. But you know what? I have a general understanding.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
You've done
camera. I guess I do. Well, I do. What I'm trying to say is, as a person that's not normally, touching buttons and doing that, I have a greater appreciation for those who do, and who do understand what's going on. And my pet peeve against artists that don't have that appreciation is the fact that they don't take the time to get that appreciation. So that would be my pet peeve. As well, I think that's the only one I'm going to say. I think that's the only one that matters. So
I'm sure I'll hear about something later on.
Probably.
Hey, I'm thankful there's no tomatoes thrown at me while I'm singing. Okay, so I'm good. Yeah. But seriously, I've learned, to be honest with you, as an artist, I've learned to appreciate the people behind the scenes a lot more as I hear what they go through, as I hear some of the struggles and the challenges and just some of the stuff. And I will say this, one thing I've really, really learned to appreciate because of Darryl is learning that when we come as artists, come to a show, let's not assume that the sound guy and the tech guys just showed up 5 minutes before or half hour before and kind of snapped their fingers and put all that you're seeing up on stage. It didn't take 5 minutes, half an hour. Sometimes it takes 12 or 24 hours of setup and struggling with technical stuff to make things work so that when you show up on site, everything's working perfectly. And if you show up on site before everything is done and it's not working perfectly, don't yell at the sound guy or the tech guy, right? It's about, understand that they are trying to make it happen and trying to make it work. And, if you mention it once and they go, we're on it, that's all you need to say. That's all that needs to happen. Leave them be, let them work it out. Yeah. Okay? And have...
If the guy's struggling, don't ask him why the sound is tinny. Because the words out of his mouth were, it doesn't matter whether it's tinny. You've got to make sure the lead vocal is coming through before a guitar sound is worried about.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry.
So we just need to understand that they're working through it all. And then if there's anything else, I mean, if just be patient with them. Just that's all I'm going to say is just be patient. And yeah, and I'll use the example again of I like using the Babby Mason story that Darryl told me about. As artists, show appreciation to your tech people. Get them a cup of coffee, or as the one example that John said, if you don't want to get liquid on the equipment, get a Tim's card or a Starbucks card and give it to them saying thank you for all that you're doing, because you know what, this show or this event would not come off, this service would not come off without your help, without you pressing the right buttons or sliders or whatever you're doing, but it would not come off without your expertise, without your knowledge, and without your help. Okay? And and it works both ways. Those artists that are on stage, don't big up your head. Don't sit there and go, you're all that, because they have the off button, right? But in humility, make sure that your instrument, whether it's your voice, whether it's your guitar and you're playing, whether it's your trumpet or saxophone, whatever it is, make sure that it's tuned, you're tuned, that you're operating at your best, so that when the tech people are doing their thing, the best comes out, and the people that are listening get the best experience. That's what it's all about, right? Okay. So I've done a lot of talking. I guess I'm making up for all the talking I didn't do. So once again, but once again, I want to say thank you. Darryl, Dale, John, thanks so much for this conversation. It was enlightening, and I love the fact that we came up with almost 35 pet peeves that we have to correct, and that this makes 2022 end in one note but begin on a high note, because come 2023, we are going to be going through events, and if we review this, we're going to do everything so much better. A reminder, January 30th, we are going to be doing an artist showcase. We want you to be there. If you're in the Mississauga area, show up, be a part of the live audience, and encourage the Tootsie Williams, Andrew Russell, Michael Manhors, and Eighth Line, the band coming in that's going to be performing live in person. So definitely show up for that. Also, I know some of you might be seeing this after Christmas, but these are available. These wonderful CDs are available, or you can download this digitally at gmihub.bandcamp.com. Get your version of the Christmas music. Support Canadian artists. Support them, okay? They're writing for a reason, so definitely support them. You can also go to our website. I'm doing a big commercial, aren't I? Okay. Go to our website, GMIHub.ca. Join our community. Follow us on our social media. Dale, help me out here. Join us on our social media on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
I'm actually making everybody laugh. Sorry.
No, you're
making
not.
Everybody laugh because I'm
Pet peeve.
I'm playing with like the
Host and
Brady.
co-host who don't pay
like
attention to what's going on. Taking away from what we're supposed to be doing.
It's the Brady Bunch over here. Okay. So I'm trying to.
Make sure you can follow us.
Darryl's not behaving himself. Okay.
Like and subscribe. Okay, I'm ignoring you now. Like and subscribe on our YouTube channel, so that you are aware of what's going on with GMIHub, and make sure you ring the bell so you're one of the first to tune into these programs. And as well, at the time that we are doing this, we're entering into the Christmas season. So if you're watching this in between December 19th and December the 31st, we hope you had a Merry Christmas, a happy New Year, and we'll see you in 2023 live. Although next week we're going to be playing, I believe we are playing Fresh IE and 180's concert that we had back in October. So if you're doing nothing on Boxing Day, Yeah, I think it's
I don't
next
know if
week.
next
that's
week?
Well, we're supposed to have 2 pre-records that we've done of shows. So we don't know which one we'll
long
do.
and the short. Okay, long and the short. We're going to be airing them during the Christmas season, so definitely tune in, check
So
back.
tune in and
also
find
check
out.
back
Yeah.
Yeah. Tune in, check it out. We'll have some surprises for you. And you know, and also we have over 100. Did you know that we have over 150 episodes on our YouTube channel? And there's so much valuable information there. Go there and check them out. And just there's so much that you can learn. And then next year you'll have some new resolutions that will help you realize with your music career. Okay, I've done a lot of talking, but from Cheryle, Darryl, and Dill, we want to say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Thank you
Happy
for
New
being
Year.
with us, and we look forward to seeing you in 2023. Bye for now.
Bye.
Feliz Navidad!
Hey, Dale, guess what?
What?
Today is the day. Our GMIHub Family Christmas Volume 3 album is out.
That's right. So you have to go to GMIHub.bandcamp.com and download your album today.
Go get it.
Now. Go.
Yeah.
Go.
Break that.
Download your copy today at GMIHub.bandcamp.com.